What is going on, you beautiful people? Today I'm going to be making a video on a topic that I'm extremely passionate about and I've been meaning to do for actually quite a while now. So the video topic is how women soften men and the entire process of it, why it happens, how it happens, what men can do to avoid it. And yeah, it's going to be a really good video. I also want to pre-frame this video with saying that I don't hate women in any regard. Like, I'm not like one of these red pill fucking woman hating dudes. That's never been my intent. It's not what I'm about. I just make this video to, I guess, spread a bit of awareness on both parts, towards the women and the men, because it's definitely something that happens. And the pattern that I'm going to reveal in this video, it's something really powerful. And once you become aware of it, you can prevent it from happening to you, or if you're a woman, to your partner, by words of encouragement. I'll dive into it in a little bit. So, women soften men. Let's go in. When a man's single, he's in his most alpha state. Okay, now before you ride me off as some red pill manosphere fucking cringe dude, understand that I use that term because it is actually relevant. I know it has a lot of cringe shit associated to it, a lot of like macho facade type things, but it's basically just a way for me to describe a man when he is in his peak form, okay? Meaning like he's showing up as the best version of himself. He is superior to the former versions of himself that he might have been showing up as in the past, okay? So when a man's in his alpha state, when he's single, he's doing all the right things. He's training hard, he's eating clean, he's on top of his career or business or finances, sorry. He's got strong, really good relationships with other healthy masculine men. Every part of his life is locked in, right? He's in the zone, he's focused, he's determined. He is the best version of himself, right? Doing everything that he can do. Now, naturally, this man who's in this state, who's so zoned in, who's so locked in, who's so disciplined, he's very attractive to women, right? Because women are attracted to men who are disciplined, who are driven, who are ambitious, who are genuinely locked in, who are organized. Women are attracted to men who portray leadership qualities, okay? That is like a very attractive thing to the feminine. When a feminine woman sees a man who is disciplined and on top of his thing and in shape and well-groomed and looking good and, you know, well-read as well, like he has some depth to him and he's just a version of himself which is very attractive to women. What tends to happen is the man goes in this locked-in state and then he attracts a woman. Beautiful, right? It's all good so far. Now, these two get together, feminine woman, masculine man. I know both genders have both elements of masculine and feminine, but just for this little example, I'm just gonna use that reference. Feminine woman, masculine man, they get together, beautiful. In the initial parts of the relationship, it's heavenly, okay? The woman's like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He's so driven, he's so determined. He is inspiring me, right? Like the woman will get inspired by the man's leadership, by the way that he conveys himself, by the standards he holds himself to. That is very inspiring to a woman. And if a woman's inspired by you, especially in a relationship, her attraction levels are gonna spike. Like, I'm a big believer that a woman has to respect a man in order to love a man. I've seen countless cases where women have had little to no respect for the man, and there is the love and the admiration and whatnot oftentimes fall not long after, okay? We should be men who are respectable men. Like, we should live in a way and be a version of ourselves that garners respect from others. I think that's a very noble and sort of like worthy thing to pursue. Okay, now back to the storyline. These two get together and it's awesome in the start, okay? Like, he's still on top of his game, he's still driven, he's still doing everything he was doing, right? Even the little things, like getting regular haircuts, getting his beard trimmed, all that sort of stuff. And the woman is very happy, she's satisfied. She's like, oh my God, like, I've got this guy, he's so driven, he's such a leader, like, it's very attractive. She feels safe in his leadership because he's a man of his word, he's holding himself to high standards. He is like just living a disciplined, honorable lifestyle. Women see that and they're like, fuck yeah, this is the man. Like, I respect this man, I love this man, I'm grateful to be with this man. What tends to happen as time goes on is the man will start to let himself go a little bit. Now, a big part of this is because the man, in a lot of cases, is doing these things just to attract a woman initially, and that in and of itself is a little bit flawed. You should be on your self-development game and doing the work, not for women, you should be doing it for yourself. A natural byproduct of improving yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, or in your alpha state, right, if you want to use that term, is you're naturally going to attract women. That's just something that happens. When you're on your game, you're locked in, you're naturally going to attract women, but don't do it for women. If you do it for women, I think it's just coming from a place of seeking female validation and craving their approval, which is just unhealthy as fuck, and it's just like a wounded place to come from. You know, you should give yourself the validation and approval that you crave. You should be doing these things for yourself. Now, when a man is doing them purely for women, what tends to happen is what I was mentioning before. He'll get the woman, right? The process works, but when he gets the woman, then he'll fall off his game because he wasn't doing it for himself. He wasn't actually in love with the process. He was in love with what the process gives him, which is the woman. So as soon as he gets the woman, he falls off his game, right? It might start off slow. Like, he might stop getting, you know, haircuts and beard trims as often as he used to. So he lets himself go, like, in that sense, right? You might be thinking, oh, bro, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Well, it actually is, because, you know, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. You are holding yourself to a high standard in all areas of life. And once you start letting one slip, it sort of starts to have like a domino effect. So he might start, you know, stop getting as regular haircuts and whatnot. So he's looking a bit scraggly now. And then after that, he might, you know, stop going to the gym as much, right? Maybe he was going to the gym 6 times a week before and eating extremely clean. Now he's only going 3 times a week, and he's fucking eating fast food a couple times a week, and it's showing, right? Like, it's showing on his physique. And now he's a little bit scragglier in the face, and his physique isn't as sharp as it was before, and he's not eating as clean, and his standards are lowering, and you know what? The woman notices this, and she starts to think, this is, you know, not the man that I initially got with. And her respect, not straight away, but her respect will naturally start to decline a little bit, you know. And women can watch this and be like, no, I'll love my man no matter what, you know, even if he's out of shape or looks fucking homeless, etc. You can say that, but deep down, like, on an attraction level, let's be fucking real. You respect a man and admire a man and even love a man more when he is on top of his game, when he's disciplined on his purpose. That is undeniable, okay? So the man starts to let himself go in a few different regards. And part of this is because he is doing these things was doing the initial things purely for a woman's, like, approval and validation. And when he finally got it, he lets go of the process. But another part of this is also, and that, I'll just preface, that whole thing is his responsibility. That's his problem. He needs to fix where it's coming from. And also he needs to stay disciplined regardless to whether he has a misses or whether he doesn't. Now, the other part of this is the woman's fault, but not in the sense of like ill intent, okay? Women naturally have a softening effect. What I mean by that is the feminine is all about play. It's about flow. It's about, like, creativity. It's about just enjoyment, okay? There's a lot of enjoyment and flow and play with the feminine. So when a woman is in a man's life and the man is exposed to this woman very regularly, the woman naturally sees how driven and how disciplined and how, like, hard this man is in terms of his direction and his drive and his ambition. And she wants to bring in an element of play, right? She wants to be like this man's escape, in a sense, from the rigidness of his masculine world. And that is a beautiful thing. I'm in no sense implying that women are these evil creatures, they soften men, oh my God, women are so bad. No, women are beautiful. I absolutely love women. I love feminine energy. I love what it can do to a man, how it can inspire a man and evoke all these beautiful things. But I'm also aware of the softening effect it does have on men and the detrimental effect that it has on the relationship long term. And so, being aware of this, I know what happens. And, you know, when a man's continuously around a woman a lot, you know, especially if he lives with her, he's always exposed to this softening element. And she's not doing it because she hates him. She's not doing it because, you know, she wants to see him as a lesser version of herself. The main reason she's doing it is because she loves him. And when a woman loves you, she wants to provide comfort to you. She wants to nurture you. She wants to bring this feminine, beautiful, playful energy into your life. Now, if a man isn't aware of this, he can become softened ridiculously quick, okay? And it's just in the little comments and the little remarks that a woman might make. Like, let's say it's 5 a.m. No, sorry, let's go the night before. Let's say it's 8 p.m. and you say, oh, I'm going to bed. Tomorrow morning, I'm getting up at 5 and I'm hitting the gym. That's what you say to your missus, right? or your girlfriend. Maybe I should stop saying Mrs. Maybe there's some people in the outside of Australia that might not understand that term. But anyway, girlfriend, partner, whatever, Mrs. Use whatever term you want. So you say to your partner, you say, hey babe, I am going to go to the gym tomorrow at 5 a.m. And she's like, oh wow, cool, awesome. That's, bit of drive, bit of ambition. That's attractive to her. Now the morning comes, it's 5 a.m. and you start rolling and start getting out of bed. And she says, oh, don't go to the gym, just stay in bed and cuddle. Stay in bed and cuddle with me, right? That's what she says, but it's not what she wants, okay? This is the paradox of the female mind. She says to you, stay in bed and cuddle. Now, as a man, obviously we want to stay in bed and cuddle her, right? Especially if you love the woman, right? It's like, bro, of course, how good is sleep? How good is sleeping, right? How good is it cuddling your partner? Like, these things feel good, they're comfortable, they're nice, especially in comparison to getting out in the cold and going and hitting a heavy leg session. Like, obviously that's the easier option, to cuddle and stay in bed. So we want that, obviously, as men. And when we think about this from a logical perspective as men, she's telling me to stay in bed and cuddle with her. That's what she wants. She doesn't want me to go to the gym. She wants me to cuddle her. And so a lot of men think purely from this logical perspective and think, well, that's what I'm going to do because I want to make her happy, right? Because they're operating from this like people-pleasing tendencies. And so, they stay in bed and they cuddle and they skip the gym. And, the woman might be happy the first day or whatever, but you know what? Deep down, she thinks to herself, that was too easy. He said he was going to go to the gym, and all it took for me was to say, oh, stay in bed and cuddle, and then he broke his own word and didn't go to the gym. She starts to lose trust in you as a man. Obviously not from one event, right? Obviously not from one time, but these things compound. And if it's the gym in the morning and then it's, the man saying he's going to do this when he gets home from work and he doesn't do it, or he says he's going to, I don't know, spend time with the kids if you're in a relationship with kids, and then he doesn't do that. The woman, over time, starts to lose trust in the man's leadership when he doesn't stick to his word. And even though in a lot of cases she might say that she wants you to do these things that are opposing what you said you would do, it's not actually what she wants, okay? As I said before, the woman naturally wants to soften, she wants to comfort and bring fun into the man's life. So when she sees a man working so hard, she wants to provide that nurturing, fun element, like that play. Even though she might say these things, deep down, if you go along with it, it cuts into her attraction towards you a little bit, okay? That's the reality. Women, if you're watching this and you're saying, that's not true, it absolutely is, and deep down you know it. If your man constantly does the things that you say that you want him to do, like the things like, oh, don't worry about eating that meal, just let's get Macca's instead, or just skip the gym and let's do this instead. If your man constantly does those things, like sort of like bends over backwards to your every request, even at the detriment of his self-development, you're going to start to lose trust in his leadership, and you're going to start to see him as a man who isn't as strong as you thought he was initially, okay? Because women crave strength, not in the, yes, sure, in the physical sense, but on a much deeper level than that. They crave strength of character, and they crave integrity, and they want to be able to trust a man. They want to feel safe in a man's leadership. If they can't feel safe in his leadership, they'll naturally start to they won't feel safe in their feminine energy, and they'll have to step into their masculine. And that's where we're going with this pattern. So as I mentioned, when a man's single, he starts in this state of his most alpha state. Cool. Attracts the woman. Beautiful. In a great relationship. Eventually, through the softening effect, the natural softening effect of the woman, of the feminine woman, the man starts to lose his edge. Okay. He starts to slip up on certain areas of his life. Doesn't train as much, doesn't eat as clean, doesn't focus on his career and business as much. He just starts operating in feminine energy himself. That's how I'm going to say it. Now, when this happens, and again, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's not a one-off incident. This could span over, honestly, 4 weeks, or it could go up to 20 years. It doesn't really have a set time frame, but the underlying and regular denominator in this whole process is the intensity of time they spend together. If you're living with a woman, it will usually happen way quicker. But if you only see a woman once a week, it's obviously going to be strung out over a much longer time period. Now, the man starts to slip up on his hustle, on his standards, and he starts to lose his edge. And the woman notices this, and she starts to lose trust in him, in his leadership, and also she stops. Her respect for him starts to decrease, and with that, her attraction starts to decrease as well. Now, because her trust is going down, she doesn't feel safe as she used to be in her feminine, which is the play, which is the fun. And so she has to step into her masculine. And when she steps into her masculine, right, and it's not just a boom, like feminine, masculine, no, it's like a rising into the masculine. When she, slowly but surely starts to embody more and more masculine energy, the man in a lot of cases feels like, oh, she's stepping up here, she's doing this, she's doing that, I can ease off even more. Massive fucking mistake. Now, the woman might not say this because a lot of women aren't aware of this, all the men are aware of these sexual polarity and this sexual energy dynamic at play. But, the woman's rising into her masculine and the man's sinking into his feminine even more. And the guy's like, oh, she's taking on all this. This is awesome. I can start having more fun and playing. And then she's like, the more he does that, the more she doesn't feel safe. And so she has to step into that leadership. And then before they know it, they have completely swapped, right? They have gone from a man who is in his masculine and a woman who was in her feminine, and there was a beautiful interconnectedness of sexual polarity, which created like attraction and a beautiful magnetic pull towards each other. And now it's completely swapped, right? Now it's like the man is in his feminine and the woman is in her masculine. And you might be thinking, well, Ricky, isn't there still sexual polarity because there's opposing forces? Yeah, technically, like if we're going to go off the technicalities of things, but the reality is a woman doesn't, unless, this is her inherent nature, which some women are like this, but generally speaking, a woman doesn't want to be in her masculine energy. That's not like a natural state for most women. I'll say most women because there are some women out there who are more masculine than feminine energy-wise. Okay, so when a woman's in her masculine energy and the man's in his feminine now, what a tongue twister. Then basically what happens is the woman starts to feel like she's leading the relationship. The man, starts to not even think, but he knows that she's leading the relationship. It's the whole thing of, oh yeah, she wears the pants, bro. Yeah, let me ask my missus, bro. Like, it's like, what? How did we get here? How did we get to this point where your woman is like your caretaker? Women don't want to they don't want to look at you as a fucking son, bro. She's not your mum. She's not, your caretaker. She's your partner. And if you want to dive into the technicalities of things, you should actually be protecting her. You should be providing for her. You should be allowing her to soften into her feminine. But when this process takes place, you can get the most alpha dude and get them in this relationship dynamic. They don't understand the softening effect of women, and boom, 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 things happen. Now it's completely changed. And the dynamic is the woman's in her masculine, the man's in his feminine. Okay, now we're at this point. This is a pivotal point in the relationship, and it's usually where the relationship starts to decay. Most people don't even know what's happening. They just think, I don't know why we're not working. I can't figure it out, blah, 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 blah. The man is now in his feminine. The woman is in her masculine. Okay, so the woman is stepping into leadership qualities. She might be saying things to the man like, hey, I need you to do this. I want you to do this. You said you would do this. And because he's in his feminine, he's saying like, I don't want to do that, X, Y, Z. Or even if he says he's going to do it, but then he doesn't follow through with it, she just loses more and more and more trust. Now she starts to perceive him, for lack of use of a better word, as a fucking bitch. She's like, this guy is like my fucking son. He can't do anything. He doesn't do shit. He sits around the house all day. He's not a man of his word. He doesn't even hit the gym anymore. He looks fucking homeless, He is just not the man that I once got with. She loses respect, attraction. She feels like she's his fucking caretaker. Do you think a woman's gonna want to fuck you if she feels like your caretaker? Fuck no, right? She wants to feel safe. She wants to feel like she wants to be ravaged, if you want to dive into that topic. And that's, when the sexual polarity is off completely, that is not happening. But this occurrence is happening. She starts to view him as a little bitch. He starts to view her as like this fucking, like this bossy, rude, etc. type woman. And he will be asking himself, oh, why isn't she the woman I once met? When I first met her, she was so playful, she was so nice, she was so friendly and supportive and this. Why isn't she like that anymore? It's like, bro, you made her like that because you sunk into your feminine energy. You fell off your game, and so she had to rise into her masculinity. She can't be the woman she was when she first met you because she doesn't feel safe enough to embody that feminine energy because you're not being the man that you were when you first met her. Okay? And then she's thinking in her mind, oh my God, who is this man? You know, he's not the man I first met. He used to be the most driven, ambitious guy ever. Like, what is this guy? It's like a shell of who he used to be. Can you see here how, from both perspectives, the attraction is diminishing rapidly on both parts, right? The man sees the woman as a bossy fucking bitch type thing, and the woman sees the man as like a passive, lack of integrity type man, like nothing going on. Bro, attraction at this point is out the fucking window. I would be surprised if they're even sleeping together, because through the laws of sexual polarity, regardless of what you think, we are attracted to the opposing energy. And usually when we're embodying our natural energy, okay? So for most people, not all of them, okay, I'll make this little disclaimer. For most people, the natural energy of man is masculine energy. And for most women, the natural energy of women is feminine energy. Yes, we possess both within us, but I'm talking about the dominant energy that usually takes sort of like dominance over the other ones. Okay, so you're in this situation, attraction's fading by the day, no one knows what's going on, you used to be this, you used to be this, why are you like this now, blah, 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 they hate each other, fuck it, let's split up, you know, this isn't working, let's go our separate ways, boom, they split up. Now, guess what happens? The cycle repeats itself. The man now, let's just talk on the man's behalf, the man is now single again, and he realizes that he has to he's back in the sexual marketplace. He's like, oh shit, I'm single. You know, I want to attract a woman. Hopefully with a little bit of a fucking grieving period, not just jumping from woman to woman, but I'm single. Oh my God, I got to do something about this. I'm going to start getting my beard and hair done more often. I'm going to start training again. I'm going to start eating clean. I'm going to get back on top of my career and my business. I'm going to become the man that I was that attracts beautiful women. Cool, right? But something has to change here. This is what has to change from the man's perspective, because this is largely the man's responsibility. Okay, I know I mentioned a lot about the feminine, and the title of this video is probably relating to the softening effect of a woman or whatever. I might change that, I don't know, but it's largely the man's responsibility. Firstly, first change the man needs to make, if you are a man watching this, take notes. The man needs to operate in his self-development journey from a place of doing it because he loves the process and this is what he does. This is who he is. He needs to form an identity around being aligned with self-development, high standards, and just in general, being locked in all the fucking time. Okay, so he needs to not do it for women's approval, and validation, but he needs to do it for himself. Step number one. Step number two is when he inevitably attracts another feminine woman, because men who are on top of their shit, that's what happens. It's not rocket science, right? Especially if you're a semi-attractive guy. Then, when he attracts that new woman, he needs to learn from his past mistakes and not repeat the fucking cycle and say, oh shit, with my ex, this is what happened. She was attracted to this version of myself. And then when I got in a relationship with her, I allowed myself to be softened. I fell off my game, etc. This is what happened. He needs to make sure that never happens again. He literally needs to stay on top of his game at all points. Not because of her or any other woman, but because it's who he is. It needs to be an identity shift. And then what's going to happen in this new relationship is, okay, cool. The man's in this new relationship with this woman. This woman's like, oh my God, I love this guy. He's so disciplined, drive, blah, 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 blah. And it stays like that, okay? He stays in his masculine energy and she can stay softened in her feminine energy. And it's a beautiful dynamic. And it literally prevents one of the biggest relationship breakdown patterns that I've ever seen. And guys, I'd speak from this, yes, from like experience that I've had through the clients that I work with, but also through direct experience. When I was younger, how old was I? Probably like 18, 19 or so. I was in a relationship with this woman, beautiful chick. And yeah, I just allowed myself to fall into this trap. I got with her and I was on top of everything, locked in. She was attracted to that obviously. And then as time went on, I was like, oh, got the girl. Don't need to go so hard, right? In the gym, don't need to go so hard on the business, etc. I allowed her natural feminine energy to soften me. And in doing that, I depolarized the relationship. Full responsibility on my behalf. I'm not in any way saying it was a bad thing she did. No, she was just doing what a feminine woman does. And it was on my behalf, my responsibility, that I allowed myself to fall into that sort of softening effect, that softening trap. Got real feminine, fell off my game a lot. Naturally, she rose into her masculine. Boom, boom, boom. The exact process happened that I explained. And we broke up. Wow. What a surprise, right? I learned from that experience and, you know, I am 25 now. since that has happened, I have never allowed myself to fall off that sort of like self-development game like again, even in like new relationships I've been in, and it's literally prevented the decay of that same thing happening again. So like, this isn't just some theory that I have lived it. I have seen it in hundreds of my own clients, and it is something that has been proven time and time again through experience. So if you're watching this video, which if you are a very lucky man, because it's going to prevent you a lot of bullshit in the future, I want you to write this stuff down. I want you to implement. I want you to actually think about this. I want you to say, well, what am I going to take from this video? I don't want this to just be something that you fill your mind with and then go on about your day, start doom scrolling or whatever. No, I want you to take this information and do something with it. I want it to change you as a person, to then make sure that the future relationships you get in, or maybe the relationship you're currently in, not only just like do well, but flourish and thrive. And this is it's not the whole, equation, but it is a big portion. A big piece of the puzzle is just understanding the softening effect of a woman and making sure that doesn't happen. So guys, I hope you got a ton of value from this video. I hope you learnt a lot. I hope you genuinely are going to implement what you got from the video. If you did get value, if you did like it, please hit the like button. I'm a super small channel right now. Like, I think I've got like 65 subscribers or something, right? So there's not that many people right now. That's fine. I'm gonna make these videos. I don't care how many people are watching, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, support me in doing this, because I do want to keep making these videos. I do want to keep providing a ton of value. I have more and more insights every day. I have a very, very active mind, which comes to these realizations very quickly. And I would love to be able to continue to share this process with you and share all these things with you. So if you get value and you like the video, like it, subscribe, share it with your mates. If you got some mates who are in a relationship, share it with them. Or mates who you think have been feminized in the past, or softened, a better word for it, send it to them. Hey bro, this guy Ricky's onto something here. Watch his video. Maybe you might get some value from it too. Takes nothing, costs nothing. Share, like, subscribe. Let's go. Have an amazing day, guys. Have an amazing night. Whenever you're watching this, I'll talk to you soon and see you in the next video. If you guys want to connect with me on socials, my Instagram is Ricky Gauci, RICKY space GAUCI. Feel free to hit me up on there, give me a follow. Let's get in touch and have a convo.